many of you are up on your Old Testament trivia? Okay, I know it's the end of the holiday season, our brains are foggy, so let's get more specific. And this might help. How many of you are up on your Jeremiah trivia? Okay, that didn't help. All right. Well, then the question that I would have asked if somebody had been so brave is that since chapters 30 through 33 of the book of Jeremiah are a bit different than the rest of the book, what name have scholars given those three chapters? And your answer, of course, is found even in today's reading. Your answer would be, oh, Jeremiah's book of consolations. See, you did know that, didn't you? I mean, it was stuck in there somewhere back from the Bethel Bible series or something. It was tucked way back in there. But some of you probably didn't know that. Anyway, now you do. Chapters 30 through 33 of Jeremiah, scholars call the book of consolations because in them are Jeremiah's words of hope against all of the things that had been going on in Jeremiah's lifetime. Now, here's the scene. Remember when Israel wanted a king, and so God called Saul into that role. And Saul became king, but then Saul lost God's favor and actually went a little bit strange and had some issues. And so God called David to be the next king. David, the youngest son of Jesse. And so David could not just inherit the kingship because Saul was not liking David very well. And so there were some struggles, some issues, some tussles. And finally Saul dies. David becomes full king of Israel. And then what David goes about doing is not going to last very long. David gathers the 12 tribes of Israel and he creates one nation. And for a small nation, a very strong nation. They are wealthy, they are strong, they're feared by their neighbors. And so finally, Israel, the 12 tribes put together, are able to push back all of their foes and keep them not wanting to attack Israel. Well, then Solomon is born, and Solomon becomes the next king of Israel. And Solomon does okay for quite a long time with his faithfulness, but then Solomon gets a little strange too. And he starts to build altars and things to other gods. And so God comes to Solomon through one of the prophets and says, look, Solomon, I gave you everything. And now you're goofing around. You're being unfaithful. I don't like it. But because I promised to be faithful to you, God says, I will not take the kingdom from you, but from your son. So now Solomon's son becomes king, and guess what happens? Israel, once united, is now divided in two and becomes Israel, the northern kingdom, with its capital in Samaria. You've heard of that, right? Bible trivia people, Samaria. And Judah, the southern kingdom, with its capital in Jerusalem. Now we're going to fast forward several hundred years to the prophet Jeremiah. Assyria has already exerted its power in the Middle East. And they've come marching in, and they've taken the northern kingdom away from the king, away from the people of Israel. It's become a vassal state. And what's left is Judah, a small country with its capital in Jerusalem. And Judah is trying its best to remain independent. But Assyria, once strong in the 7th century BC, starts to weaken. And guess who rises up? Babylon. You've heard of them, right? Babylon rises up. And Babylon not only knocks Assyria out of the picture, just like TCU knocked the Badgers on the Rose Bowl. So Babylon not only knocks Assyria out of the picture, but then Babylon starts to breed threats against Judah. And they can do that because they can get close. They own Israel now, the northern kingdom, and now they're hunkering down on the borders of Judah, and they're threatening. So, in the midst of all this, the king of Judah decides that his only option go to Egypt and create an alliance. And God says through Jeremiah, that's not your option. Your option is to be faithful. Be faithful to God's promises and be faithful to everything else that has been part of the history, part of the present, and can be part of the future. But the king of Judah says, I like my chances with Egypt better. Get where the story's going? So, Jeremiah spends the first 29 chapters of his book prophesying the fall of Judah. It's going to happen. Look, the northern kingdom has already collapsed. Look, the Assyrians, who were once strong and mighty, have been bumped out of the picture. Babylon is now the power to reckon with, and Babylon is breathing down our throats. They are threatening us with everything they've got, and they will win. Unless we're faithful. So in the early chapters of somewhere in the mid-20s of Jeremiah's book, the king says to Jeremiah, now Jeremiah, let's see if you pray to God, maybe God will do one of those cool things he used to do, and we'll be saved. And Jeremiah says, it's not magic, buddy. And so Jeremiah and the king don't get along. Just about everything Jeremiah says, the king ignores. And the king does his own thing. Now we come to the book of consolations. It's a precarious time. Judah is collapsing. The army of Judah can't handle the strength of Babylon. The army from Egypt is slow in arriving. And even when they do, they can't handle the strength of Babylon. So the alliances created politically are falling apart. And Judah is caving in. And then in the midst of all of this collapse and trouble, in the midst of everything that should be now falling apart and becoming what it shouldn't be, in the midst of God's once mighty people now being weak and bedraggled and being torn apart, Jeremiah says, but God still stands with you and will raise up from the remnant of Israel a nation. God will still be with you in spite of everything else that goes on. And the few people who heard that understood that God will keep God's promises. Fast forward to our own day. How often do we try to make alliances, unholy alliances, with the people and the things around us because we're afraid of what's going to happen? We live in precarious times. We keep hearing strange numbers coming out of unemployment reports and economic reports and other kinds of things, and it scares us. So we try to make these strange alliances with our banks and our credit card companies and other things, hoping that we can stave off some kind of future difficulty. We think we can do it on our own, just like the king of Judah. We think we can make some kind of alliance, just like the king of Judah, but Jeremiah's word is as alive for us today as it was for the people back then. Our hope is in God, who never walks away from us, even though we try to walk away from God. Our hope is in God. Remember, the Gospel of John says the light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has overcome it. So, who's your Babylon? What's your Babylon? What's threatening you right now? I know if you're a Bears fan, it's the Packers. But more than that, who's your trouble? Have you taken it to God? Have you asked God to stand with you in the midst of your difficult moments? I mean, is it something to do with a loved one? Is it something to do with aging? Is it something to do with not being old enough? Is it something to do with not being young enough? I mean, whatever it is, you have a Babylon. It's camped on your borders. It's threatening you with everything it's got. You can go under if you try to make some alliance that is outside of what Jeremiah calls us to. We're called to faithfulness. As you ponder your own Babylon, I urge you to think of this. Do practice your faith your Babylon is something much greater. I hope and pray that you're asking God to stand with you in this. I can guarantee you this, even if you don't ask, God is standing there with you. But if you do ask, you might see it. You might notice it. And if you do tell somebody, you will notice where God is standing with you. Maybe not at the moment, but certainly in hindsight, you'll look back and you'll say, whoa, God was with me, and I didn't even realize it. Whatever Babylon you face, do tell God about it. Do tell your neighbor that your prayer is that God will stand with you. And then, instead of trying to do it on your own, let God be God. Trust God's promise. Remember what John tells us. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness did not overcome it. Amen. Our hymn is number 290, Go Tell It on the Mountain. Please stand as we sing this again.